You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Almost. Major. Holy fucking shit, this is major!
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Almost Major, where we talk about the many major studios and the films they release, and we have come down to our final films for FilmDistrict. My name is Kevin Tudor. I'm here with Bryden Doyle.
Hello.
And we are here to talk about In the Land of Blood and Honey from 2011. Released on December 23rd, 2011 in 3 theaters, and it maxed out at 18 theaters. Budget for this was $13 million. Opening weekend made $18,854. Domestic gross of $303,877, and overall gross of $509,193. I couldn't find the DVD or Blu-ray sales for this. I doubt it was flying off the shelves. But I will say that the DVD/Blu-ray of it does not have the alternate English language version, and apparently that's like only available like if you buy it on like iTunes or whatever, stuff like that. So me and you both watched the same version. But
yeah, which like stupid that like they felt the need to shoot this movie in English, because it's like they have like actors from like the area that are like playing these roles. Just have them like speak, like I guess it's like really just like the fear of like, I don't know, making someone watch a movie with subtitles and everything. But even like I watched like fucking 22 July, the Paul Greengrass movie, where it's like set in Norway, has Norwegian actors, everyone speaks English in the movie. I'm just like, feel like you didn't need to do this. Like if it had like big English stars playing in this movie, like Bosnian roles and everything, it's like, okay, I guess like you had them like speaking accented English and everything, but it's like, you had like Bosnian or like Croatian or Serbian actors in the movie, just like have them play like speak dumb.
Yeah, and I assume that that version that we watched, not the non-English language version, is the one that went to theaters. I wonder if FilmDistrict was like, maybe we put out the English, like, I don't know why they did it. I couldn't find anything to figure out why they did it, if it was for some territories and not for some territories, so I don't know.
And I didn't get a chance to watch Jolie's later movie, First They Killed My Father, which takes place in Cambodia, but like that is like one where I've read like that is like they just shot that where like the actors are speaking the language of Cambodia or Khmer, I think is what it was. And like I think like even Matt Seitz, who like reviewed the movie and loved it, like said like, you know, the credits are like both Khmer and English, and that language comes before English. So it's like, oh, good, cool that Jolie had the clout by then to like make that decision. But yeah.
Anyways, top 5 films this weekend. I was here for this. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I believe the first movie I ever saw in IMAX.
Great movie. Yeah, you got to see the preview of Dark Knight Rises with Bane on the plane.
I guess. I assume. I
remember doing that, and I
memory.
think even then I was like, what? What is Bane saying?
That's fine. He'll clean it up in post. Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. Saw it in theaters. Have never seen the first one. That was one of those. My friends were like, "Hey, we're going to go see that," and I was like, "I'll get out of the house, sure."
So he's a detective. I don't know if you got that.
Is he a little stinker? He might be a little stinker. I remember, like, I guess I was texting the girl that I just gone on the date with for the next movie in the top 3, which was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Yes, I took a woman to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. She wanted to go.
My parents went to see that on a date too. I mean, they've been married for like 30 years at that point, so like
that was the breaking point. I mean, wow, yeah, because it was the second or third time I had seen it was when I saw it with her. But I believe Sherlock Holmes, I kept like leaving the theater to text her. So sweet. Being 18 is stupid. Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked.
all that in
And
theaters.
moving on, and The Adventures of Tintin.
That movie's awesome. I have not seen that in full probably since I was like since I saw it in theaters. But yeah, that movie's awesome. I should revisit it in full. War Horse also came out around that Christmas too. That was like the twofer for Spielberg. Yeah.
Number 1 song of the US this week is We Found Love by Rihanna featuring Calvin Harris, and the number 1 song in Canada this week is We Found Love by Rihanna featuring Calvin Harris.
Do you like that song?
I don't know. I've never heard it not on the radio against my will. Like,
Well, it's also I think I sort of fell back in love with it again when they play it in American Honey. That's like the song that's playing when Sasha Lane and Shia LaBeouf first lock eyes at the supermarket.
that's right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the song that I take from that is, God, what songs it is? No Type by Ray Strummer, of course. God, I need to rewatch American Honey. Fuck.
I should too. I haven't seen it since it came out. I saw that
Me
on
neither.
a double bill with Moonlight, which that was a fun day in Toronto.
I
Just sort of-
technically saw it in a double bill with Birth of a Nation, but I walked out like 40 minutes into it because I was like, I could leave early. I was in an Alamo Draft House by myself because, of course, I was. And I was like, I can leave early, eat, and then go see American Honey, which I did that. And then I left there, and then I went back to that Alamo Draft House to see Under the Shadow.
Oh, the like the Iranian horror
Yeah.
movie? Yeah.
Which is fine. You know?
Yeah, I watched one of his Netflix movies, I Came By, where George Takei is like a graffiti artist who finds like Hugh Bonneville's doing shady shit in his basement.
Oh.
I actually liked it pretty well.
Well, and then he had that Hulu movie that everybody was just like, let's just pretend this didn't happen. Wounds?
Which one? His new one, Hallow Road, or Wounds? I mean, those are both Hulu movies, I think.
Wounds.
Wounds, yeah.
Hallow Road, I don't even know what that is.
That's like I mean, same here. I like was like looking up like, oh, what else has this director done? It's like he had a movie that came out this year. I'm like, did not hear about this.
Sure he did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... what? Wait, is this... This is fantastic podcast. No, they played this with another movie as a double feature on Halloween Day at AMC.
What
And
was
it-
the other movie? Shelby Oaks.
No, it was something else that I was just like, huh, sure. It was one of those, like, put them together and make people think that they're getting a deal or something. But, yeah, and he's also attached to do the sequel to Cloverfield. That's
Okay.
his...
I mean, he's
yeah.
a decent director. Yeah.
It's the thing of like the past 2 years. He was like, man, yeah, they got something cooking up for Cloverfield, and people were just like, say something else. Say something else about, wait, are you involved? Are you doing it? And he was just like, yeah, I'm definitely doing it. Doing what? I don't know. He was just like, Jesus Christ. Okay, plot description from Google. It'll watch me fumble names like a motherfucker. I believe it's Danielle, I believe is his name, played by Gordon Kostick, a Bosnian Serb police officer, and Aija, played by Zana Marjanovic.
Like, the way I heard her pronounce it, she almost sounds kind of like Isla. Like
Isla, that's
I
right.
thought like, oh, like Isla Fisher or everything. Spelled differently, of course, but I was like
Right.
just trying to think of like the pronunciation.
Isla and Danielle, yeah, a Bosnian Muslim artist, are lovers before the outbreak of the Bosnian War. Sidebar, are they? But whatever. Back into it. But the lovers land on opposite sides of the conflict as violence engulfs the Balkan region. Months later, while serving in the Bosnian Serb army, Daniel once again encounters Isla when troops under his command take her from the apartment she shares with her sister. As the conflict marches on, they find their allegiances uncertain. I don't think as it goes on, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much set in stone. Yeah, I don't get before, like, are they, apparently they're lovers, but it seems like her sister's like, do you have a date tonight? And she's playing coy about it. It's just like, they don't seem that...
It's not enough to make it seem like there's any kind of tension in the thing of like, you're just like, this guy is so bad by the time like you meet him next that you're just like, I have like no investment in any of this, like, because like,
Okay,
and then like
but he doesn't want the war. He doesn't want the war. He doesn't want
and
that.
it's like, and his dad, oh my goodness, yes,
I was
I
like, how
do
about
care
you
about
grow
that so
up?
much.
How about you grow up?
Yeah, good. I mean, like, look, it's like the thing of like, if the movie had like that first section when they're on the date and everything and courting each other, like be like 40 minutes versus like 5 minutes of the movie, I don't know that I would have bought into
I don't
like
think
any
I
of the
wanted
tension.
40 minutes of that either.
No, I don't want this movie to be longer and anything, but like it's like a thing of like it's like so thin that you're just like, and especially for like how grueling the rest of the movie is, you're just like, I can't be invested in this because like this doesn't feel like these are real people, and it's just like I mean, we'll get into it, but like, my goodness, yeah, this movie just does not work. But yeah.
Written and directed by Angelina Jolie, she allegedly has a documentary from 2007 called A Place in Time that seems to have never been released. So this is technically her first feature. After this, Unbroken in 2014, By the Sea in 2015, I'm sure that age is great. First They Killed My Father in 2017, and Without Blood in 2024, which at the time of recording premiered at TIFF in 2024 and released in Italy in April this year, and that's it.
Yeah. By the Sea, I've heard is good. I feel like a lot of our friends go to the mat for that movie, but I've never seen it. I've heard it's like, yeah, it's like with what you found out about like Pitt and Julie's relationship, that it is difficult to watch. But yeah, no, I'd like to see it. I saw Unbroken in theaters. I think I saw that on like New Year's Eve with my mom.
Hmm.
I liked it at the time. I have no, but I was like pretty positive on a lot of the Oscar bait that was coming out around that time, and I don't know that I would love it
What's
now.
it,
Shot
what's
by
the
Roger
other
Deakins though, so
what's
that's
the other
cool.
Oscar bait from 2014? I'm bad with like 2010s years as far as what
Like
came out.
around that time, I think I saw like Imitation Game, Foxcatcher. What was the other one? I was just thinking of Wild. Yeah, I mean, Foxcatcher is one of those movies where I heard someone mention it on a podcast the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that is a good movie." But I was thinking, I really want to watch it again. But yeah,
I was thinking of that the other day where I was just like, oh yeah, The Square. I gave that like a 10 out of 10. I fucking love that movie. I've had zero desire to rewatch it.
and
And
boy, has Oslin just been raining threes the last couple movies. I'm
dude,
joking. I've heard those are bad. Uh,
yeah, where are we at? Starring Zaina Marjanovic as Isla. Only other feature that might be known is that she is in a movie called Broken from 2012 starring Tim Roth. Yeah.
I've heard that's good. Yeah, I think I have that watch listed.
Goran Kostic as Danielle. Prior to this, Children of Men 2006, Hannibal Rising and The Hunting Party in 2007, and Taken in 2008. After this, The Zookeeper's Wife in 2017, which is so funny because while watching this, I was like, this guy is giving me Zookeeper's Wife energy, and Daniel Bruhl in particular, and I don't like Daniel Bruhl. I what is 2017? What I remember seeing the trailer for Zookeeper's Wife in theaters like 40 times somehow. Like it just I can say it verbatim somehow. Anyways, Zookeeper's Wife, check it out, I guess. Is my man from King of Queens in that movie, or is that a different one?
Which guy?
The main guy from the King of Queens.
Oh no! Okay, sorry. It took me a minute to remember what joke you're. Zookeeper. That Kevin James. That's 20. That's the same year as In the Land of Blood and Honey. That's like summer 2011. I saw that in theaters. Yeah.
Sure. Be Jerry Stiller in The Zookeeper's Wife.
I'm just like, what's the funniest? Patton
And Patton
Oswalt.
Oswalt. Trivia. Jolie got the idea to write a script of a wartime love story after traveling to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm trying my best. As a UN Goodwill ambassador, she wanted to rekindle attention for the survivors of the war that took place in recent history. Jolie's name was deliberately withheld from casting calls and auditions. During pre-production, the producers approached the Serbian tycoon and media magnate. I wish I was a media magnate. Zeljko Mitrovic to see if they could use sound stages and sets that he owned. He refused and says, I've held a great affection and admiration for Angelina Jolie, both as a person and as an artist, but unfortunately she is full of prejudice against the Serbs. I do not wish to be a part of something that for the umpteenth time presents the Serbs as eternal bad guys. And I don't know dick about this war. I don't know what is being said or not said in this movie, so I'm just judging it as just a film, so...
Yeah, I like did like a cursory search on like there's the website United Nations International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, and they talk about like there were like many different stages of like the different republics they were making up Yugoslavia, and how like they broke off, and how like the Bosnia and Herzegovina thing was like that conflict was like especially terrible for like how many people died and were injured and had to leave the country because of that. Yeah, I mean it's like what did they talk about? Like it's Serbia and Croatia attempting to assert dominance over large chunks of its territory. I'm reading quotes from this website.
Mm-hmm.
Leaders of and then like yeah, Bosnian Serbs rebelled with the support of Yugoslav People's Army in Serbia. Yeah, they were persecuting non-Serbs. Quickly asserted control of more than 60% of the country. Bosnian Croats soon followed, rejecting the authority of the Bosnian government and declaring their own republic with the backing of Croatia. And then, like it says, bloody three-sided fight for territories, civilians of all ethnicities becoming victims of horrendous crimes. This movie really does focus on how like a lot of Muslim people who lived in the country were being persecuted and like being ethnically cleansed. And I mean, it's you watch this movie now and like where it's like Muslim persecution and like genocide and blowing up religious sites, and even like aid workers being attacked. You watch it now and like you just like it's like they're it's not the first time that like countries like this countries have had like these horrible things happening, but like you watch it now and like with what's going on in Gaza with the genocide being committed, where even like aid flotillas are being attacked as well as like Palestinians. You watch this movie, you just think about like history repeating itself, and it's horrifying to watch. Also wild. Just to think about, my sort of knowledge of this conflict was mostly like limited to movies I'd seen, where it's like you have serious issue movies like Welcome to Sarajevo by Michael Winterbottom, which I watched this research for this, but then like you also have movies like William Friedkin's The Hunted, where it's an action movie that starts out where like Benicio del Toro kills like a Serbian leader in like Kosovo, and it's just, and that movie's in 2003. This conflict ends, I think, in like the early to mid 90s, and it's just weird to think about. I love William Friedkin's The Hunted. It's an excellent movie, and I think that movie is like dealing with like sort of like the darkness of the soul of people who are like partake in these violent conflicts. But like it's just weird to think about how these horrible tragic events are like then like used as sort of backdrops for like genre fare. It's just an interesting thing to think about. I'm not like saying I like hate the existence of a movie like The Hunted, but it's just weird to think about, especially like with some of the horrible stuff that's going on in the world now. It's like it's just like weird for me to think about like I'm not saying this. I'm trying to put this as seriously as possible. It's like weird to think about like, are people going to be using like some of these conflicts as like the backdrops for like Hollywood thrillers in the future? I don't know. I don't think we should be doing that. But it's just like a weird thing that crosses my mind. It's just someone who watches a lot of movies and how the world is reflected in cinema. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling.
I mean, imagine if there was just like, I don't know, like Patriots Day, but imagine if there was like
that. Yeah, I was talking about Paul Greengrass. He's made a lot of movies about like stuff like that, and some of them have like pretensions of seriousness, or like saying like they're just like sort of recreating the events as like sort of docudramas and anything, but it's like still a thing of like, yeah.
Or if there was just like a random, like if there was a Liam Neeson movie that took place on 9/11, it's just like how would the people that aren't offended by something like The Hunted but would be offended by something like 9/11, or would they even be offended like at all?
Interesting. I think like you're bringing up as a hypothetical example, but in the Yame Gletzeroth thriller, Nonstop, set on the plane, the terrorists are Scoot McNairy and Nate Parker, and they revealed that the thing that's motivating them is that like, I think that I'm remembering this right. Like they felt American security wasn't good enough on 9/11, where I think Scoot McNairy lost his father, and then he like went to the fight in the army, and he's like, and then I came back to a country and I didn't know what I'd fought for. And then it's like, I mean, look, it's I think the guy's like supposed to be muddled and unhinged and everything, but you're just watching it, it's like, 9/11 is the motivator. And weird that that's in like just like a trashy Liam Neeson thriller. Anyway, yeah. I do like Nonstop, to be clear. I mean, that's a fun movie. I like a lot of those trashy Liam Neeson thrillers. It's just funny you were saying as a hypothetical there. I'm like, funny you mentioned that.
In like a hypothetical of what they've tried. I mean, there's been movies where there's COVID as like a little bit of a movie, but if you try to do it as a whole movie, most people would be like, yeah, I don't want to see that. Or if it's something like Sick, where like it's very much a part of that, but also when it starts to get into like basically the start of the third act where what's her name comes up and it's just like the reason why we did. I'm like, shh, I don't care. Let's go back to the chasing. I don't want to know what side you fall on in this shit.
Right. Yeah, I do like that movie too.
Sick kicks ass, dude. Jolie on claims that our film was not balanced. Quote, the war was not balanced. I can't understand people who are looking for a balance that did not exist. There are some people who don't want to be reminded of these things. Some even who deny that these things even happened. Those people are going to be angry. Shot in October and November in 2010 in Budapest and Esztergom, with a cast entirely local from various parts of former Yugoslavia, many of whom lived through the war. Apparently, they shot two versions, one in English and the other in Serbo-Croatian. We both watched the Serbo-Croatian version. It looks like the English language one is only available on streaming, as the Blu-ray that I watched didn't have that option, which is weird. When I saw that, the first thing I thought of was just like, like The Room, how they shot that on digital and on film at the same time. I thought that, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure they probably just shot one scene in English and the next one, which that's still so weird. Like, the only other thing I can think of was like when they did the original Dracula. Like during the day they did the English language, and then at night they did the Spanish version of it. Strange. And lastly, there was a plagiarism suit filed by an author named, damn it, I thought I was done, Joseph Knezevic, as best as I got, 2011. Angelina Jolie won the suit in 2017 after the author tried to appeal. Jolie said that she pulled from many books and documentaries and many people's stories, but she had never heard of that book. And then I read that it was just like, yeah, they read the book and it was just like, this is all about like perseverance and love and getting over it. It was just like, yeah, that's not in this movie, man. Like,
am I a prisoner?
You're not a prisoner if you want to be here.
Are we so terrible we should be exterminated?
Out with your hands in the air! Or we will kill these women!
It's very complicated. One of your Muslim friends was in my scope. And I thought about you. And then I wondered, would she kill me if she had the chance?
She will betray you. She's not to be trusted.
Should I trust you?
Did I make a mistake? I think I did.
okay, so that's all the trivia I have. If I can somehow pull up my initial thoughts. Okay. There is a scene early on where they've rounded up all the people, and that scene. But where that happens, and then our main character is about to maybe get that, and then Danielle shows up, and I was like, if this is going where I think it's going to go, I might turn this movie off. But thankfully it did not, where he's just hey, everything's done. Get her out of here.
And before we go further, massive content warning for watching this movie and discussing it, because there is this movie deals with sexual assault throughout the movie, which was like a thing that was being done to people in Bosnia and Herzegovina throughout this conflict, but as part of the genocide. It's depicted in the movie. It's really tough to watch. We won't go into super graphic detail, I think, about talking about it, but like, it's just a thing. If you're watching this movie and hearing us talk about, we will mention it at various points. But yeah, that scene is really tough to watch, and it's very early on, and that's why like I texted you when you're watching this movie, just be warned. Like, it's
But I legitimately thought it was going to be like them having. And I was about to be like, oh no. I was like out loud, like, no, do not do this. Do not do this.
There's the scene where he like brings her into his chambers, and like she sits down in the bed, and he's like, why are you sitting down? Like, he's like saying like, I'm not gonna do anything to you and everything. And then they do have like the very lovingly shot scene where they do have consensual sex. And then like I feel like every scene after that is kind of like, it's like he's curdled like a little bit more, where he's like worse and worse, like where he's like really smug and like kind of treating her as like, where he's like kind of like treating her with like sort of a thing of like, well, you're one of the good ones and everything. And it's like, it's just like, ugh. Like, it's like the movie is aware that this guy is like a piece of shit and everything, but it is just like, it kind of just keeps, I mean, I don't know. My thing with it is it just keeps repeating it over and over again. There's not a whole lot of depth to that.
I don't know what this movie thinks about him, though, because at first I thought it feels like he's like literally where he's like, you're one of the good ones, which is just like, I don't know if the movie thinks that that's a good thing or a bad thing is the thing. But like, because after the scene where like she's like cleaning up all of their plates and whatnot, Isla is, and like they're like throwing bowls on the ground and shit, and Danielle like dismisses himself to like meet her in her room, and they hug and have sex, and I just like said, man, this sucks. Like, because I mean, she even says it eventually, where like where she's talking about like the camps, concentration camps and whatnot that are there, and she's talking about like, well, you kill them but not me, like type of thing. You think you're better for that, but like at that point where I was just like, so this entire thing is going to be like, I will kill all your people, but not you because I find you attractive. And I'm just like, this movie can go to hell.
Well, like it's and like it's like one of those things. Like I mean, movies I've talked about. Like the movie, that part of the movie that reminded me of was the in Schindler's List. How Ray Fiennes' Nazi character is like going after Beth Davids and everything. And like the movie's like aware of like how that guy is like just like a fucking twisted weirdo and everything, like fetishizing this person while he hates her people and kills her people and everything. And I mean, I don't know. That movie depicts it differently than this and everything. And there's like a lot more stuff going on in that. But like, yeah, no, it's just like, and you're watching it and you're just like, I think the movie thinks this guy's bad, but you also spend like a lot of time with him, and it's just like not fucking interesting. Like hearing about like, oh man, he's like under the thumb of his dad. It's like I don't
exactly. They're trying to make it seem like, well, if he wouldn't be doing this, and I'm just like, come on, like,
and it's like when I think he like, there's like the scene where he's talking to her, and like he says like, oh, my father, like the general and everything, and she like looks surprised. I'm thinking like, did this like listen, not like putting a fault in her with this and anything, but I'm thinking like,
if y'all were lovers
never talk about
prior,
this before leading to that? Like, it's like, again, if the first chunk of the movie where they were dating and before like things like really went sideways with the conflict, if like that had been longer and we got to know them a little bit better before that, it's like, I don't know if I buy this anymore, but like there's like at least be a little more insight into like what's going on with these characters and how like living in this society like changes people and everything. But it's just like it doesn't put in the work and everything. It's just focusing on like the misery of it, which like she doesn't shy away from it Julie doesn't shy away from it as a director, but you're just like, there's not a lot here, I don't think, beyond just like wallowing in the muck.
Yeah, and then like the scenes of him like being on like sniper watch, and he sees like Muslim people trying to escape, and then he doesn't shoot them. He's like, hey, I didn't shoot some of your people today. Isn't that cool? And she's like, what? Like,
but then like during like a firefight, which we're just like dropped into the middle of it, like he does shoot someone, and like the camera sort of like there's like sort of like a shot of him like looking particularly haunted. I think even like the sound gets all this. I'm just thinking like, again, like,
come on,
I don't like that. This is not like this. Again, like we said, like when we cut ahead to him, like 4 years later, or even it's like 4 months later, like it's like he's at like we talk about like the rape camp. I'm like, that is already so horrible that like I'm just like I hate this guy like so immediately that like his descent, I guess, as the movie presents it, into like madness or like into like even more evil. I'm just like, it's like there's not really like I'm not going the mile for that and everything. Like it's like yeah. I don't have a lot of patience for it.
Well, yeah, I don't have the patience for a movie that's just like somebody who's very hateful towards a certain group, but maybe they start to learn that they actually are people. I'm just like, I'm 33. I don't have time for this.
Which I guess the movie's bleak conclusion like shows that like it doesn't like sentimentalize that guy because he does like a terrible thing at the end, and like then like is like just like that, I guess, is what breaks him and everything. But again, it's just like again, what do I get out of this? Like it's and I guess like maybe you wouldn't want the movie about like such a horrible event in history to have like a trite sort of conclusion about the human spirit or whatever, persevering and everything. But it's just like, I don't know. Again, like it's just one of those movies where I'm like, to what end? Like it's just like it is sort of like the thing like where we've had it's just like, okay, this terrible thing happened. I don't really know that like again. Good that we're not ignoring this horrible period of like recent history, but I don't get a lot from this movie.
I mean, yeah, I saw somebody's review where it was just like the titles at the beginning and end of the movie. I would have got just as much if I would have just read those instead of watching the entire movie, which basically, because everything else as far as like dialogue that happens in the movie that is very war specific, getting behind like his dad, the general of all of this, where he's just like, we've taken land and one day we're gonna take more. And he's like, that's right. And I'm just like, I could have guessed that, man.
Right. And there's like stuff in the movie. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm bleeding talking.
That's all I got. You go ahead.
Initial thoughts. I mean, my other thing with this movie is like, I feel like there's stuff that like the movie's skipping over that could potentially be interesting. One, like the sort of like the initial courtship showing like like them living like lives of peace and everything, and also like getting to know them as a couple and seeing how that relationship was operating even like before the tensions really erupted and everything. That would be interesting to me. Especially because, like the idea of like movies about like people on opposite sides of like the law or opposite like, or like, people like of different ethnicities, like sort of like having like those tensions and relationships. I mean, that's like the stuff of many movies I've enjoyed and everything before that have like, been thorny viewings and everything. This is like a blasé comparison, but I think of like movies about like, cops and criminals who are like, friends at the start and then like they become enemies at the end. And that's a terrible comparison. It's not really the same thing and anything, but like you think about like that can make for good drama. I also thought she was spending so much time with Daniel. I feel like a much more interesting part of this movie would be focusing on the Muslim characters, including Isla's sister and like the sort of the rebels and like their sort of like
They
hold up thing
kill
where
her
like
fucking child, and they get like
yeah,
one scene with that.
I know, which is like terrible and everything. And then, but like, there's the scene where they're talking about like, okay, Isla, like maybe like how do we get like a way to like sort of like infiltrate like the Bosnian Serbian army and everything. And like, but like Jolie, and like I'm thinking, oh, this is like interesting, like sort of like spy stuff, which I guess Jolie doesn't want to like go the route of making this into a genre movie because that could maybe be like trivializing this and anything. But like it's still like an interesting sort of like process sort of thing. But then like she conveys the scene like through like by circling the table and like dissolving. And it's like I'm thinking and like it's sort of cutting ahead to the conversations like multiple times. And I'm thinking like this is confusing, and also I feel like you're skipping over like the sort of like process of all this, like the spy stuff, and like it's like just like kind of it makes the narrative information feel unclear. But also I'm thinking like this would be there's like no correspondence between her and like her sister, Isla and her sister for like the rest of the movie and everything. Like you see her sister like once I think near the end of the movie, but I'm like thinking
Well, at the very end, yeah.
yeah, but I'm like thinking the back and forth between like these two groups and everything like would be interesting, I feel like. And I'm like that's a movie. Like or her like, Isla like infiltrate like not just like you do maybe have like the one part of it where it's like Isla is like trapped with a guy who she used to be involved with before the war and now she's with him while he's like oppressing her people. That's one prong of it. But then like the other prong would be like and then she's sent in to like infiltrate where she's sort of like playing like both sides of it and everything where she's like pretending to be like and when like you get that but like there's not like the other side of like getting to know her people who are oppressed and like in hiding and everything like I feel like that's like I don't know I just think that would be more interesting especially like
Well, definitely,
narratively.
definitely more interesting than following the soldier who gets a lot to do while Isla, the only thing she gets to do is paint and not
suffer,
talk to
like-
anybody. Which, and it would be one thing if this was like based on this is what really happened type thing, but as far as I know, this is all made up. So
Right. I mean, there's a chance this happened to someone. Maybe someone did experience something like this, and like a lot of the terrible things that were done in real life and everything. But yeah, it's just like, and again, I don't want to sound like I don't want this movie to be like to be juiced up in like a Hollywood way and everything with narrative incidents and everything. But it is just a movie where like it just kind of keeps presenting the same scenes of suffering or the variations on the sort of different types of suffering over and over and over again, and you're just like, you get it after a certain point, and like it's the movie doesn't have, I don't think, a whole lot to say other than like, no one should ever do this to anyone, and it's like completely agree, but like it's as a film, it doesn't really it doesn't leave a whole lot to write home about, and I don't think it really presents a lot on a filmmaking level. Stylistically, this didn't really capture me in any way.
it's also her first movie. Maybe it's also her first movie. Maybe and then they killed my father. Is that the other? Like maybe that one has. It's been a few years, so maybe.
And Unbroken, shot by Roger Deakins. I remember that movie looking pretty good, and there is actually like kind of an interesting the one thread that sort of just trying to think of like Jolie, I guess her interest as a director and everything, and the material she chooses. There is a scene in Unbroken where Jack O'Connell, who plays Louis Zamperini, one of the American POWs in a Japanese prisoner of war camp during World War II, where he's taken into, I think, Japan, and he's given like a like food and told like we will give you freedom if you like read this like anti-American like sentiment and like basically like sell yourself out and everything. And he refuses, and he's like, you see he's like sort of like torn between like the life of like luxury with like the food that's in front of him, and then he decides to like stick to his guns and like go back to the camp where he is beaten mercilessly. And there is maybe like the sliver of an idea that so you can like between these two movies of like there is like staying true to yourself and like loyal to your people, like, and I think like how Isla like sort of like just stays true to herself, like even as she's like sort of like offered the idea of freedom under like a horrible like oppressive rule and everything. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here and everything, but like I feel like there is like sort of like something that maybe I'm trying to think of like what Jolie saw in this material and what she sees in her other material, but it's I don't know. It yeah, and like like I said, the characters aren't interesting, and then like I don't know. I sort of roll my eyes at this, and I don't want to be like too glib, but like when she goes to the art gallery near the end of the movie with Daniel and says something about like she talks about like negative space, and it's like oh, it's about like the impact of like of what you don't do, and I'm thinking. Is that like a metaphor for like people not taking action in this movie? Which again, like they talking about that and like how like people are like being infuriated that like nothing's being done about that. Again, you were seeing that in Gaza where you worry today, where you worry about people are thinking why are larger powers not doing anything? But I was just like I'm thinking if that's like in this movie, if that like negative space in art is being used as like a metaphor for that, I'm thinking that's like something I can imagine a writer doing in a movie, and I'm like, ugh, it's pretty hacky, but yeah.
I didn't know until I just read the Wikipedia plot synopsis beforehand that I didn't know that she was being sent back out there to be a mole. I did not get that from the conversation
again,
they had.
they convey that so badly in that one scene where like it is like just like a bunch of like rapid dissolves as like they're circling around the table and it's like, oh, Isla, are you sure you want to do this? Like, yeah, I will. And then it cuts to like the guy Tariq who finds her hiding under the dead bodies, and he's like, again, it took me a moment to sort of be like, wait, because it cuts right to him already captured and everything from like the meeting. And I'm like, and then he says like, oh, I like can give up like information on where these people are hiding out. And then it cuts to like them capturing Isla, and she locks eyes with Tariq very meaningfully. I'm thinking like, so I'm like thinking, okay, this must be part of the thing they were talking about her infiltrating. But again, she doesn't like like I'm not saying this is a critique of like the character or anything, but it's like, but she doesn't like do anything really other than just sort of paint the guy and like I guess like
you don't see her like planning what eventually happens at the end, or when that did happen and she apologized. I just thought she was apologizing that it happened to him, not that she was involved with it.
Yeah,
and then
which like yeah, I guess you get that and everything, but it's like the thing of like again like this is process stuff where it's like I would find that narratively compelling, and also like it would be like a little bit offer like a little bit more in terms of like the movie just presenting her suffering and everything. It would just be like it would give, and also would give her like the chance to play off like the other people in the movie, like her sister.
or give her a chance to be like, is she gonna get found out? Which you don't really experience that. There's no like, oh, will she want? It's literally just her in a room, and the thing that you fear is that he's gonna get more violent with her, and that's
exactly
basically
which. And again, like I said, maybe Julie was like worried about like not wanting to make this into like a thriller or like a genre movie and everything. But and listen, I don't want her to make like a like we've already talked about like the potential problematics of making a genre movie about like such set against the backdrop of such a horrible historical event. But it is just a thing of like if she doesn't want to do that, the thing that she did choose to focus on in the movie is not especially there's not a whole lot to mine from it either, beyond just seeing how terrible it was.
Well, then just make a documentary, like,
which but like again, listen, I respect her for she and Jolie to this day seems to have pretty good politics, like being in support of Palestine and everything, and making a movie about people who are suffering under the genocide in Bosnia. With this movie, like that's I commend her on that level. But as a piece of filmmaking, I don't think it leaves a lot. For me,
I'm surprised she only made one documentary that technically is not released. So
yeah, that's weird that doesn't exist. Or has not been released. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I say technically not. It's not like leaked or anything. Nobody has seen it.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, you would think that she would. I don't know. Has she written any books? Any like nonfiction books or anything like that?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that I forgot to write down who it is, but there is somebody in this movie that's also in Chernobyl Diaries. I'm just letting you know that.
She has written some books. She wrote notes from my travels, visits with refugees in Africa, Cambodia, Pakistan, and Ecuador. And She also wrote a book with Amnesty International and Geraldine Van Buren, Know Your Rights and Claim Them, A Guide for Youth. And she's also written a couple of articles.
Okay.
Yeah, good for her.
Not what I expect from the co-star of The Bone Collector 20 Years On, which, good on you, but it's just so... It's very... Is there anybody else, like, of her statue that just basically, like, turned on a dime of, like, what she is known for? Because, like, I can't think of, like, the past, like, 15 years any big movie she's in, but I know that she's, of all of her humanitarian stuff, more so than... What was the HBO Max movie about, like, firefighters or what, some such shit?
What?
Right?
It's supposed to Wish Me Dead.
Yeah.
I kind of like that movie, Taylor Sheridan. Yeah. Yeah, and I was also trying to think of like comparisons of like other actor directors that we've covered in the past, and the first thought that came to my mind was Vincent Gallo. I'm like, well, I like that movie. He seems like a far worse person. though.
Take your pick. Bad person, great movie. Good person,
Robert
bad movie.
Englund with 976 Evil.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, man. I'm sorry that I don't have a lot to say about this movie. It just didn't. It didn't leave a whole lot for me. And it's one of those movies where it doesn't seem to have been especially well praised or reclaimed by anyone that I know.
If anything, it is aged worse. As far as like people watching this and being like, "Hey, don't make a movie about this. Like, just don't do that." Which like people at the time were like kind of mixed-ish on. Like, not that this is blah blah blah. 57% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, Justin Chang at Variety did not especially like it. New York Times didn't really like it. AP didn't like it. New York Daily, blah blah blah.
Ebert gave it like 2.5, which would be rotten.
Karina Longworth's review for The Village Voice, she dismisses the movie as a United Nations extra credit project about the Bosnian War. Wow. Producing a sanctimonious vanity commercial for her own good intentions. God damn, Karina.
I don't know that I would call it.
I would not call it that either.
No, because especially because like Jolie, like you said, didn't like include her name in the marketing, and she's not in the movie either. So like,
Well,
it's
not in the. She's her name's written and directed on the poster. It's in the marketing, but it was for when people were auditioning and stuff. She didn't want her name to be like, you know. She wanted
I don't
it to
see
be just
vanity in this movie. I could criticize this movie for a lot, but I don't see vanity in this.
No.
That's what I would say.
Have you seen Beyond Borders?
No, that's Martin Campbell, Clive Owen, and her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. It's weird. I don't. And you were asking me about like it truly was that firefighter movie, Those Who Wish Me Dead. I think that is like the last thing I saw her in. I just have not. I haven't kept up with her filmography too much, which I probably maybe I should. I mean, what's
Damn, she's only 50. She feel like it seems like she's lived like 30 lives. Because what's her first big movie? Is it Bone Collector? It has to be Bone Collector.
I mean, she'd been in Hackers, Foxfire, where she had sort of like teen or YA roles. Gia, which I've heard about playing. I mean, Bone Collector looks like one of the first movies where she's probably like the
And
top.
then Girl Interrupted. Yes.
Right.
Her winning the Oscar and be like, that's a motherfucker from Gia. It'd be like, how do you know the movie Gia? Dad. Yeah. Yeah, it just, wow. It legitimately has lived like 50 lives. It just, yeah, the Billy Bob Thornton shit, the John Voight-ness of it all, just so many lives. Next, we were talking about Pompeii from 2014. Released on February 21st, 2014 at number 3 in 2,658 theaters. The budget, I saw some reports of 80 million and some of 100 million. Everybody just lost money. Okay, opening weekend, $10.3 million. Domestic gross of $23.1 million and an overall gross of $108.4 million. I also saw $117.8 million. It's all money laundering. Who cares? DVD and Blu-ray sales of 8.9 million. Top 5 films this weekend. I saw one of these in theaters. The Lego Movie. 3 Days to Kill. Pompeii. I'll go number 5. The Monuments Men, which I'm sure that's week 1. There's no way that that's like week 3. And then number 4, RoboCop, which I saw in theaters.
Yeah, Monuments Men, that had been out, I think, for a couple weeks. I think that's like comes out like near the start of February, like maybe second week. That movie.
You're telling me it went higher than number 5? That there's no way.
That movie stinks.
I bet. You know what also
and then,
stinks? Fucking RoboCop.
Oh yeah, saw that like on like the Thursday night show with my mom instead of going to my semi-formal. And you know what? I mean, probably would have been about the same experience.
Be like, do you wish you would have gone there? Be like, no, I just wish I would have watched a better movie. That would have been nice.
Yeah, I probably should have watched the original RoboCop, which I didn't see until like a year later.
I didn't see it until many years later. No, but I remember going to see that against my will. Me and my friend went out literally to go play pool and drink, and he said he was going to cover all the drinks. I'm like, that's fantastic. And then like an hour and a half into drinking, my other friend shows up there just unbeknownst, and he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go see RoboCop. And I was like, have fucking fun. And then my friend was like, oh, I want to go. And I was like, no, it's a fucking remake of RoboCop. And he's like, I think it looks good. And I was just like, why am I friends with you? And he was like, how about the money that I would spend buying you drinks all night, I could just get 2 shots that'll get you as drunk as all of that. And I was like, no, that sounds awful. And then I did that, threw up, and then went to go see RoboCop while I like laid into 3 movie theater seats, like fucking all crumbled up and shit. And I was like, man, that was some ass. Yeah, that's my memory of RoboCop 2014. Number 1 song in the U.S. this week, Dark Horse by Katy Perry featuring Juicy J. And number 1 song in Canada this week, Thank God, is Something Different. Say Something by A Great Big World featuring Christina Aguilera.
I don't like that song. I remember hearing that.
I don't know what it is. 2 Americas. Well,
I remember it like hearing it. Like I think that band got interviewed in like the Cineplex pre-show when I was like a kid, and I also remember it playing in the trailer for the Chloe Grace Moretz YA movie If I Stay, which I never saw. My mom went to see that while I went to see Sin City: A Game to Kill for.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah. I also think we should mention that though it's not featured in the movie, around this time the band Bastille had the song also called Pompeii.
You're gonna make me.
Which I had to hear a bunch on my gym teacher's playlist when I was like doing laps around the gym in class in high school. Anyway,
it reminds me of what was it? I was driving home and Lights by Ellie Goulding came on shuffle, and the reason that I keep that on shuffle is because it was like 2010, 2011. They would play that song at like, I don't know if they were, what theater that was, a Cinemark or something like that. They would play that as like from part of the commercials. So when I hear that, I think of going to see movies in 2010, 2011. And then I'm just a 33-year-old man crying at Ellie Goulding driving home. But it was like, fucking, man, I really went to go see fucking Incredible Burt Wonderstone, man. I had it all. Plot description from Google. Strap in. In 79 AD, Pompeii, a bustling port city, don't know what that is, don't care, stands in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius. Milo, played by Kit Harington, a former slave, is a gladiator. I mean, he's a slave for like most of it. Former slave is a gladiator who has caught the eye of Cassia, played by Emily Browning, a wealthy merchant's daughter. However, their differences in social status is not the only obstacle to their love. He's poor and she's rich. Society's not going to like it. Cassia has been promised to Corvus, played by Kiefer Sutherland, who's like 78 years older than her, a corrupt Roman senator. When the eruption of Mount Vesuvius rains lava and ash down on the city, Milo races to save her before it's too late. That's like 20 minutes left of the movie, so that's kind of giving it away. I mean, the poster's giving it away. The entire time, you're just like, when is the volcano gonna happen? Written by Janet Scott Batchelor, Lee Batchelor, and Michael Robert Johnson, took 3 people. Both Janet Scott Batchelor and Lee Batchelor wrote Batman Forever, so not all bad. Michael Robert Johnson also wrote or co-wrote Sherlock Holmes, Mute, and created a show this year called King and Conqueror, which I'm sure that's just doing numbers on MGM Plus or wherever. Directed by... Paul W.S. Anderson, prior to the Shopping in 1994, Mortal Kombat in 1995, Event Horizon 1997, Resident Evil 2002, AVP 2004, whoever wins, we lose, yeah. The rest of the Resident Evil movies, fucking... After this, Monster Hunter in 2020, and then The Lost Lands this year. And he's apparently rebooting House of the Dead, and I hope a bus just takes me out before that happens, but... starring Kit Harington as Milo. This is only his 2nd movie. His first being Silent Hill Revelation from 2012, which I've heard sucks. but I'm going to have to watch it before the new one drops in January. Obviously, Game of Thrones 2011, 2019. After this, a movie called MI5 2015, which sounds like that movie company, The Asylum, that would put out knockoff movies in Blockbuster like Snakes on a Train. Somebody going to Blockbuster to rent the new Mission Impossible and accidentally rents MI5. A miniseries called Gunpowder in 2017, The Death and Life of John F. Donovan in 2018, No Thanks, I'll Have a Water, Eternals in 2021, and The Beast Within in 2024. It's like
I must also mention, were you about to mention 7 Days in Hell, the HBO documentary with him and Andy Samberg, where his recurring line is like when people would like ask him questions, be like, "Oh yeah, indubitably." Best shit ever. I love that sketch still to this day. Or like, yeah, that's special.
Emily Browning as Cassia prior to this, Ghost Ship 2002. She's a little girl in Ghost Ship. Bad movie. Incredible opening. I believe that's the movie, and I double checked this. Julianne Margulies signed on for it because it was a psychological thriller when she signed on, and then she got on set, and then they turned the script, quote, into a shitty horror movie. That's just beautiful. Yeah, bad movie. Although the tagline is See Evil, S-E-A Evil, that's fucking nuts. Kiefer Sutherland as Corvius prior to this, At Close Range and Stand By Me in 1986. The Lost Boys in 1987, Young Guns in 88, Flatliners in 1990, that is a boring feature film. Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, and A Few Good Men in 1992. Eye for an Eye in 1996, gotta watch that garbage. Freeway in 1996, Why I Have an Eye. Me, this guy. How have I not watched Freeway? Or Freeway 2, Confessions of a Trick Baby. Dark City in 1998. Phone Booth in 2002. Hell yeah. Taking Lives in 2004. Hell yeah. Imagine me being 12 watching Taking Lives for the first time.
He's not in it that much. I feel like he's mostly a voice in that.
I remember a scene in the elevator, and that's basically it. Wait, how does it start? It starts with Michael Pitt, right?
No, Paul Dano.
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano kills Justin Chatwin. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It also opens with Bad by U2, which is like one of my favorite songs, but it's like weird movie to open and close your film with. Weird song to open that movie. Yeah.
God, we used to make movies. A movie like Taking Lives, which is like gross. That like the other week I was watching the remake of The Last House on the Left. That is a dirty, fucked up movie. Went to like 2,500 theaters. Like, it's really fucked. Very good movie, though. 192 episodes of 24 from 2001 to 2010, plus like fucking 9 spinoffs and movies and whatever. I don't know. Mirrors in 2008. I am ashamed I've not seen this movie. My apologies. And Melancholy in 2011. After this, voiced several characters, including Snake in the last Metal Gear Solid game from 2015, 53 episodes of a show called Designated Survivor from 2016 to 2019, sure. They cloned Tyrone and the Kane Mutiny Court Marshal in 2013, 2023.
Which I really need to see. Yeah, I've heard that one's quite good, and I heard he's quite good in that.
Yeah. And The Jury Number 2 in 2024.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah.
Also starring my Queen of Cloverfield, Jessica Lewis. This is actually the last movie she's done. Carrie-Anne Moss and Jared Harris. Which Jared Harris, like, what are you doing here? Get out of here! You don't know what Pompeii is. You're a guy that has seen the face of a fucking Us Weekly. Get out of here. Trivia. Why do I have more trivia for this movie than fucking whatever? Director Paul W.S. Anderson said that he was not pleased with a lot of people online said that Kit Harington's six-pack abs were digitally enhanced and not real after the first stills and trailers for the movies were released. He reiterated they were completely real with no makeup and digital enhancement, and Harington actually looked like that for the shooting of these scenes. Hey man, maybe get off the internet when people are calling your star's abs fake. Like, who cares? Kit Harington suffered body dysmorphia while working on this role. He said he became completely obsessed with it to the point where he was going to the gym 3 times a day for 6 days a week. He suffered from a case of exhaustion. Where I pulled this from, it had quotation marks around exhaustion. It'd be like, okay, you do it. And eventually his trainer stepped in to rein him in, but he said that he was proud of what he achieved in the end. Most of the trivia on this film swings between nerds talking about volcanoes and shit and more trivia about Kit Harington's abs, so like, there was so many more trivia facts about his workout, and I was just like, how about the movie? Oh, you don't have much to talk about the movie? Okay. This is FilmDistrict's final film, RIP. You gave us like 2 good movies. The original cut.
Which, do you want to rank them like real, like speed round style at the end of this episode, just like to put this to bed?
Yeah. Oh fuck. Let me pull up my list. Okay.
Do you want to do that at the end, like after we talk Pompeii?
Oh yeah. So in like 5
So like
minutes.
2 hours from now.
Fuck off. The original cut was 130 minutes. I'm not sure if this was just the first cut or was originally brought to the studio, but with those cuts, that's apparently how most of Carrie-Anne Moss's role was cut out. So.
Oh yeah, she really doesn't get a lot to do. Yeah,
she shows up and then she's like underneath a rock, dead. Like, Gladiator 2000, a sword and sandals epic of a slave fighting for his freedom, was a huge influence on this film. You don't say. Wow. Spoilers for the ending of the Paul W.S. Anderson feature film Pompeii. The original ending was written as the main character surviving, but Big Dick W.S. said that shit was too Hollywood and changed it to both of them dying while embracing. Yeah, let's listen to the subversive independent director Paul W.S. Anderson on what is too Hollywood. Okay.
I mean, the last shot of this movie does kind of get me. I will say.
I did see I didn't put it down here, but I saw a bottom of the barrel IMDb trivia fact. It was just like, the Star Wars movie Rogue One ends in a similar fashion. It was like, and? So,
Goodness.
but I do have... What?
Wait, with this being FilmDistrict's final movie, did you also catch that like the production logo at the start was Impact Pictures Pompeii? I'm thinking, which made me think of didn't you tell me that like, you know, when Larry Clark's Kids was coming out, they had to like make like basically a shell company like Excalibur Pictures or whatever,
Shining Excalibur for Weinstein,
we were like,
yeah.
Disney's not putting out this movie. I doubt it was similar circumstances for like FilmDistrict. I'm thinking like, wonder if like Pompeii, Impact Pictures bracket Pompeii is just like a one-off company. It's awfully specific. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they could have just called it Pompeii Pictures, which I don't know why. I mean, of the many things I don't understand about the Weinsteins, why do they call it Shining Excalibur Pictures for the movie Kids? They could have just called it Kids Pictures or something like that. Who knows? Another thing that ages really bad is that when Kevin Smith made Red State, which was completely independent, he called him and not John Pearson, but another guy who used to work at Miramax, he called their production company the Harvey Boys.
Ugh.
But during that movie is when Kevin Smith learned that Harvey was a piece of shit. Bottom of the barrel IMDb trivia facts. Paul W.S. Anderson's wife and freaking leading lady Mila Jovovich visited the set. That's
wow.
All.
I'm astonished that a married couple would see each other during that time.
This should have had like 1 thumbs up and 98 thumbs down. And lastly, Kiefer Sutherland starred in The Three Musketeers 1993. Paul W.S. Anderson directed The Three Musketeers 2011.
Whoa.
Hey, come on.
And Sutherland was like, he saw the movie, he's like, I have to see this man and about a job.
Why am I not acting in this picture? Yeah.
People of Pompeii! Let the games begin!
Place of corruption,
Kill them.
temptation,
That slave looks at you as if he's in a dream, Cassia.
and a battle. What is your name?
My name is Milo.
For survival.
Tomorrow we fight. Slaves that live earn their freedom.
From all corners of the Roman world, people would gather here.
What is this?
It is the mountain.
But for all our strength,
Can you feel that?
we lived in the shadow of a greater power.
Whatever is happening here, we find freedom, my friend. We have to get to the harbor.
Initial thoughts. I don't have much to say. This type of movie, regardless of merit, is impossible for me to care about.
Do you mean disaster movies or Paul W.S. Anderson movies?
Yes and yes. But anything that takes place before like 1962, you like gotta throw a pie every now and then for me to care. But like stories set during these times are the most like not for me things. Like I like Gladiator, fine, but this is not. This is fucking like slop. This is like impossible to pay attention to. Just a bunch of nothing. Like SNL skit vibes with no laughs. Like what's oh fuck. all right, I'll get into it. What fucking sorcery has Paul W.S. Anderson done to make people think that he's like anything more than like a warm body in the director's chair? Like, I don't fucking understand. People talk about Resident Evil like 5 and 6 as if they're like crowning achievements of the millennium. Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Like,
Yeah, I mean, what's your favorite of the bunch that you've seen? Because I have an easy like
Resident
I
Evil
like
movies?
no of all his oeuvre of like Paul W.S. Anderson movies.
I've rewatched Resident Evil before going through all of them like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, this is not good, but I do remember being 10, 11 when that came out, and I thought it was cool. But like, as far as rewatching it now. And then I watched Event Horizon, I wasn't that big of a fan of, but by the end of it, it does get pretty fucking gnarly, so I commend it for that.
We don't need eyes.
I mean, so there's that, but I mean, unlike Mortal Kombat, sure, I guess, but like, I do not understand. Like, I don't like. I can somewhat understand M. Night Shyamalan because at a certain point he did make good movies, but that was like when Bush was president. But this guy, I truly do not understand. I do not understand how people like think he is like one of our best auteurs. Like, it's fucking, which is not a thing I even thought about until I joined Letterboxd, and I was like, what are these? Are they okay? And they're like, no, this is a widespread thing that people think. Was it fucking subtitles for the movies are all the same, but the one where it's just like, because somebody says treat the gun like it's a camera, it's him talking meta about filming. I'm like, no, it's not. Y'all are dumb. I'm sorry. I love some of y'all people that love these movies. This is stupid. Like, it's a zombie killing picture. Like, it really
that's is like in the last like decade or so that I feel like the tide has sort of like turned where people are starting to speak up for his movies. Like, I think when I was a kid when Three Musketeers came out, and I think on Ebert Presents at the Movies, Ignatiy Vishnevetsky was like the only critic on the show who had seen the movie at like a film festival, I think. And he said like, now a lot of my colleagues don't seem to like Paul W.S. Anderson's movies, but I think they're fun. And like, I was thinking, he's like the one guy who I think I've heard say that. And now like 10 or 15 years later, I'm like hearing lots of people say like, hell yeah, I love this guy's movies. I'm like, I run sort of like hot and cold. I love Event Horizon. I remember really liking Soldier, although my memory of that movie's kind of foggy. And I like some of the other ones I've seen.
I wasn't going to watch Soldier, but instead of watching Soldier, I watched another Kurt Russell movie, which was Breakdown, which kicks fucking ass.
Awesome movie. Holy
so
crap.
Good.
Yeah, a movie where I was watching it alone on my laptop in my room and like yelling out loud at the stuff that was happening in the third act. Just being like, oh my gosh. Like, that movie's incredible.
It's unbelievable. And I was just like, they literally back in the day were just like, what if we had Kurt Russell in a desert? And they were just like, here's 50 mil. Like, but
that director hasn't like really followed up on the process of that movie. Like you, Jonathan Mostow, it's like no. 571's okay, but like, yeah, weird. Anyway,
no, fuck that. We're talking about Breakdown. Fuck Paul W. Anderson. I just want to say that at the end, the Kathleen Quinley thing that she does at the end, like literally made me like fucking just go nuts. Like, it's so fucking awesome.
Yeah. To drill down on the Anderson thing, like, what is it about the movies that like you're not like? Do you not like what about like? Is it like the look of them, like in the edits? Like, yeah,
it's the acting, it's the editing, it's literally anything you could pinpoint to a movie. Like, it. I know I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna groan, and anybody listens to this. It would be as if people would be like, "You don't understand Uwe Ball." Like, it's that point. Like, truly, there's nothing different to me from the Three Musketeers and In the Name of the King. There's no fucking difference.
I haven't seen In the Name of the King, which I know has actors I do like in it. But I feel like Anderson's movies, the ones I've seen at least, comparing it to the two Uwe Boll movies I've seen, they at least have better actors giving better performances.
I will give, if somebody was like Resident Evil or House of the Dead, would be like, well, I have eyes. It's obviously Resident Evil. Like, of course, but they ain't that far off, dog. Like, House of the Dead is very obviously much more in your face terrible, but like Resident Evil is just, those movies are just a sack of nothing. Like, just a big barrel of nothing dicks. Like, they're nothing. yeah, God, like I will understand Greek before I understand how anybody could watch a Resident Evil sequel and think they're outstanding. Like it's truly baffling. Like that fandom and like M Night fandom, I don't understand. But I truly don't understand Paul W.S. Anderson like at all.
Well, and of course, I was joking with you. Like, I didn't get to do a whole lot of research for Paul W. Anderson, but I was saying like, oh wow, you could really, well, you could watch his TV movie, The Site, which is an intersection of your two favorite people, Paul W. S. Anderson and Andrew McCarthy.
Oh, I mean
You're like,
that would be interesting to watch as far as like just a TV movie. But yeah, Andrew McCarthy, good lord. They really gave that motherfucker so many chances just because, like, hey, you were in the 80s, right? Like, that's basically it. Like, he sucks. Like, he's bad. Is he in, what's the Robert Downey Jr. drug movie? Less Than Zero. Is he Less Than Zero?
he's the lead of that movie.
Doesn't he just show up and he's just like, hey, RDJ, are you still doing drugs? And he's like, no. That's it for like 2 hours. I'm sure the book is better, but I remember that movie being a whole bunch of nothingness.
I don't know. Do you want to hear my thoughts on this movie? I guess like
No, yeah, of course.
I don't know. One of the things I will say that I like about Anderson is that I do think across a bunch of his movies, I think the thing that he does really well, some of the approach to his action is like a little cut. It's cut a little too frenetically for my taste. Not that I like necessarily lose track of the actors in the space. At least like I feel like I can at least follow it generally well. I just wish he'd like had a little more patience with the edit. But I do think he is very good at and I think in how he directs his actors and how he frames them. I think he is very good at capturing characters in moments where they realize that they're about to die. I think that is the thing that he has done exceptionally well in like at least a few of his movies. I mean, Event Horizon has the incredible moment where I think it's Sean Pertwee's character finds that Sam Neill's planted a bomb inside, like behind like some sort of panel switch, and he opens it, and it's close up of like his eyes like filled with tears. And he's like, oh, and then like he looks down as like he realizes he's fucked, and then big explosion and everything. I mean, like this is the thing about Paul W. Anderson. He has those moments where like he seems to like really care about his give the characters the emotional weight of them realizing they're about to die, and then he kills them like the worst way possible.
Well, my man in Resident Evil with the cube laser whenever that happens.
Yeah, that shit's awesome. Yeah, and then shopping, there's a moment near the end, I think, when like it's like sort of like a crash zoom on characters as they realize that they're about to like crash their car like and get into a terrible accident. And then there's I think Pompeii has moments like this too that are really good, where Kiefer Sutherland is like sort of wailing ineffectually like, please no. And then like he's like swept over by ash, and like you can see like sort of like the faint outlines of his facial features as like they just become all like molten and everything, and he's just like then swept away by the dust. I like all that. And then I'd say like the main performers that you're supposed to follow in the movie are like they leave a little something to be desired. I mean, Harrington I think does like sort of the serious raspy whispers very well. I mean, but it's just like it's kind of like one note. It's like a little like the one note stoicism I don't find especially compelling. I think I liked, although I do like I'm sorry if I'm fudging the pronunciation of his name, but Adewale Akinwumi Agbaji, who plays Atticus, he is very good in this. I think I think he has like a great sort of like bassy voice that like where you sort of hang on his every word, and he seems to really get all that. Like when he's like, and he has like some of the dry sort of humor that like I think is like fun to get in like the very intense circumstances, like when he's pouring the wine on the Kit Harington's wounds, and he's like, that was a good waste of wine. I'm butchering the delivery, of course. But then I also love the hammy villain performances from Kiefer Sutherland, and I mean it's really just him. He's like the main bad guy. I think he's a lot of fun. When he has like a couple lines that I highlighted, like the line deliveries that I found really funny. Oh yeah, when like I think it's when he kills Jared Harris. He says, "I've decided not to invest in your little city," and then like he like psychs him. And I said to you like for the first like 2/3 of the movie, I was thinking, what actor is he reminding me of? Because he's doing like a British accent. He's sort of talking like a lower pitch. So he's sort of, I've decided not to invest in your little city. I was again bad
Sounds
impression.
like Scar.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, yes, I know. And then like I was thinking, going through like the mental Rolodex in my head, where it's like, which British actors are you reminding me of? And I'm thinking, a lot of British actors. This is gonna take a while. And then like finally, like and then finally it hit me. I was like, Jeremy Irons, like wrote it in like underline. Like I was like, yes. And so like if you're making me think of that, that's really fun. Um, uh, I like I think the special effects are quite good. I love like the sound effects where there's sort of like sort of like the screeching sort of sounds that you get when like the rocks are flying through and like it looks like mini asteroids are like flying at the city, and there's like the really cool shot where like it's an aerial shot of Kiefer Sutherland racing through the city on a chariot with Emily Browning in tow, and it like there's sort of like it's like they're in the center of the city. It's like this very narrow alley, and like there's sort of like the crashing waves and like the rocks and the fire that are sort of boxing them in. I don't know. I think it's just like a cool little image. Like I said, I think there are a lot of pretty images that Anderson frames in the movie. I do think he cuts a little too much for my taste for like the images to really linger in the mind. Like I imagine like if you pause the movie and like looked at a certain shot, like you'd think it looks composed really well, but like it's like he only holds it for a few seconds, so maybe it doesn't entirely linger enough in the mind. I don't know. I found this like pretty enjoyable. It did sort of. It's one of those movies where like I didn't think I was like that emotionally invested in the main sort of romance between Harrington and Browning. But then at the end, like I don't know, the moment of them deciding that like that like they're gonna spend like their last moments together and anything, it just sort of, and like also I don't know, kind of like the spiritual way where it's like, well, I'll see you again in like the afterlife. And he says that like he says like to Atticus, you know, before he's leaving, you know, I will see you again, brother, and everything. I don't know. I found that somewhat moving, and that's the thing that sort of gets them to bond, where they share their names with each other. There's something I thought there was something kind of beautiful about that.
Well, and then Emily Browning says we'll meet again in another life when we were both cats. Did she say that?
I mean, if this had ended with, put the fucking that cigarette song over the end of the movie. That would be incredible.
I would have been like, wait, do I need to rewatch this again? If it ends with who's my man, the guy who's explaining it in the elevator, what's his name?
Noah Taylor.
Noah Taylor. And it's with Noah Taylor just being like, forgive me, I'm blowing your mind.
I don't even think this was like going through my mind when I selected the movie, but after I watched Into Land of Building Honey, I was just like, well, I'm like I'm in a bad mood. I don't want to end my night just on this movie. So I watched Dante's Peak by Roger Donaldson on Netflix. And I was thinking about like 10 minutes into it, I'm thinking like, probably should have double billed this with Pompeii. And they even like make a reference to saying like, hey, it's like Pompeii. And sort of a similar thing where like, you know, lots of like earthquakes and like other bad stuff going on. And people are saying like, I'm sure it's not that bad. And we have to sort of like, and they don't want to do anything. In both movies, both Dante's Peak and Pompeii, they're saying like, well, it would be like a real financial hit to the city if we didn't like, if like we made, you know, news of like, you know, some sort of collapse and everything. Like, I think like Curry Graham says something about like, oh, if we can't like, no, I think it's Jared Harris says, if we worry people about like, you know, the structural integrity of like our stadium, how do you think they're going to trust us for, you know, building an entire city? Let's not do anything about this. And then of course, like they get their shit wrecked like immediately. Yeah, I don't know. Disaster movies, I mean, they're not entirely my thing always. It sort of does depend on, I guess, how good the actors are that I'm asked to care about and how good the filmmaking is. I don't know. I'm not like a complete Paul W.S. Anderson apologist. I don't love everything that I've seen of his. I mean, Three Musketeers I saw when I was a teenager and I don't remember loving it. Coast to Toast, yes, of course. Oh, what other it was, I think I thought about that. We were talking about that when you mentioned the Ghost Ship tagline where it was like how
much did Volcano make just because the tagline was the coast is toast?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, are taglines an important thing anymore with marketing the movie? Yeah, it's.
I mean,
like,
this movie. You look at the poster. There's 0 posters with Tommy Lee Jones on it, like at all. It's just Volcano. Back in the day, they were just like, "You want to see a volcano erupt?" And they were just like, "Yeah, 80 mil first weekend." It's insane. Like there is a DVD cover where it shows like Tommy Lee Jones running and it looks like ass. Like, no, I'm here for the volcano. I gotta watch Volcano. I gotta watch Deep Impact or Daylight.
That one has a weirdly loaded cast. Dante's Peak, though, I will say, fun movie. Had a really good time with that.
I don't know if I saw it when I was like 5 when it came out, or I just wanted to see it when I was 5. So who knows?
I mean, it's on American Netflix right now if you want to watch it. It's also, I will say, that movie also has a similarly good moment where it shows a character realizing that he's about to die. But then, and I was thinking, oh, that's good. But then, like 5 seconds later, he falls into the water, and there's a Wilhelm scream, and I just like burst out laughing. And I was like, okay, maybe they shouldn't have had that particular sound effect. I don't know. There's not a whole lot for me to say about this movie. I don't think. Although it is an interesting thing of linking it just sort of like with like putting on my Ochoa's hat very briefly is sort of the idea of sort of these corrupt organizations not playing fair with people that they use as violent sports for spectators. I'm like, oh yeah, he made Death Race. I forgot about that, where it's like, prisoners used in like these violent races, and like it's like rigged basically by someone, and like that's what Sutherland is ruling. Which, you mentioned like Gladiator being the influence. They basically do that with like is he gonna do thumbs up or thumbs down? And it's like just a clenched fist, and then Emily Brown sticks her hand to the shot with a thumbs up. Which
There was an IMDb trivia fact, the top one, and I was like, this is not trivia. It was just like, the thumbs up and thumbs down back in 70 AD meant a lot different than it did today, and I was like, don't care. Don't care.
it would be funny if we had like a Siskel and Ebert type show where it's like, thumbs up, thumbs down, clenched fists.
The ratings reasons for Volcano is PG-13 for intense depiction of urban disaster and related injuries.
What about Pompeii? Did they have something like some weird MPAA classification as well? What's this you sent to me?
That's the bad, like, Blu-ray cover for Volcano where it just shows Tommy Lee Jones being like, I'm in this movie?
Oh, yeah, that's real bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. PG-13 for Pompeii is for intense battle sequences, disaster-related action, and brief sexual content. Where's that? I don't remember that. Intense, but yeah, that's not as fun as in related injuries, which could mean anything.
What? I mean, this is like bringing back Playing for Keeps, a brief, intense image. You're like, what is the brief?
Oh yeah, wow. Pompeii, more like this on IMDb. Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, Hercules, and Noah. 4 movies. Gun to my head, I would be like, I will take the sweet release of death than watch either of those movies.
Even as an Aronofsky fan, you're not watching Noah?
I'm not watching Caught Stealing, which I've heard is like good. I just don't care.
Yeah, that is maybe my 3rd favorite Aronofsky out of the ones I've seen.
You seen 3? Have you seen 3?
I don't like it as much as Pi or The Wrestler, which is my number 1 Aronofsky forever. Although I haven't seen The Fountain, so
Wow, big fountainhead. Okay, you want to rank Film District movies?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's put this mini-series to bed. I'm sorry, folks. I thought this would be a better idea about a year ago, and I'm sorry it almost broke our show.
It would have taken like 2 months. It took us 11 months.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. I am seeing here that because we did 11 movies, we were going to do 13 movies. What were the 2 that we were just like, why?
Well, we didn't do. We were gonna do Rum Diary, and then I think like about like 2 hours before we were supposed to record, I said, or it was like maybe 2 days before. Yeah, like I said, like, man, at the rate that I'm going of like putting off watching Rum Diary, I'm gonna be watching this movie on our recording. Like I'm gonna be watching while we're recording. And then I think we were just like having a conversation. It's like, guys, I'm real depressed about this miniseries. Can we not do Rum Diary? And then we just did Safety Not Guaranteed, and to gotta say, didn't exactly feel better about doing that movie still, but whatever. Yeah.
Yikes! Yeah. No, I think there was another one. Was there another one we lopped off?
Hold on. There were movies where it's like, oh, it was like
we didn't do all of it. Yeah, of course.
Well, like we didn't do there was like production companies were Film District, but the distributor was something else. Like I think like Ware and Lockout, I think were like different companies that actually put them out as distributors or something. And we talked about this. We recorded episodes for Don't Be Afraid of the Dark and Drive, but they got lost to time just by circumstances, so we didn't end up talking about those.
This list I didn't put Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2. That's where we are wrong, because I was about to say, of the movies we covered, I gave 1 movie above 2 stars.
Yeah, my top 5 is not the best.
Yeah, Film District rank. So we got 13, right? You got 13?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll go with my number 13, which is Red Dawn.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
bad.
Bad. Very
Didn't feel the
bad.
need to watch the original. Which did you
I
watch
did,
that?
and
Yeah.
still not good. It's better because, of course, it is. But yeah, I'm not a war film guy, so
Yeah, but if only it had had "Hey Man, Nice Shot" by Filter in it, like the
I
trailer.
mean, remember when that gets needle dropped in the cable guy though? It's pretty dope. It's pretty
Hell
great.
yeah.
My number 12 is Pompeii.
My number 12 is Safety Not Guaranteed, a movie I liked when I was a teenager, but now do not like. This is, by the way, the thing that's running through my mind is I thought it'd be fun to talk about Film District because it's like, hey, I was like seeing some of these movies in theaters when
That
I was a
is the
kid.
fun part of it, believe me.
Yeah, but it's like to paraphrase a quote from Community. Just because I saw it as a teen doesn't mean it was good. Which I think the Community quote I'm paraphrasing is just because it was in black and white doesn't mean it was good.
Well, I mean, it was coming off of 80s New Line, which we did have a lot of stinkers, but they were very interesting periods of time. It's just like, no, these suck, and that was like 10 years ago. It's nothing like, man, remember back in the day? It's just like, no, we still make garbage like this. But I mean, it's very interesting to ones where, because these are obviously the most recent ones, and the closest to recent ones we've done prior to this was like 2004. So nothing that
Yeah.
I remember seeing in theaters that we'd cover prior. So yeah. You did 12. My number 11 is Olympus Has Fallen, also a movie that's impossible to pay attention to.
Yeah, I liked, that's part of the thing of revisiting the series is like, I think it's where it's like, oh yeah, I liked that one when I was a teenager. And if you're watching it, it's like, don't like it now. Yeah, my number 11 is Playing for Keeps. A movie that just like kind of goes in one out in one eyeball and out the other.
Play for Keeps is so high for me, and it's still 2 out of 5 stars. My number 10 is Insidious Chapter 2, legitimately one of the most boring mainstream horror movies of all time.
Hey, that movie's a little bit higher on my list. My number 10 is Parker. Just watch Point Blank or The Outfit instead. I will watch the Shane Black Parker movie, Play Dirty with Mark Wahlberg later this year.
I think I found out about that movie because I woke up and my friend texted me, who like has insomnia, at 3 a.m. and just said Shane Black frowny face, and I was like, no fucking way, dude, Shane Black died? He was just like, no, he just dropped a shitty movie, and I was like, you can't do that. Like,
You might say that's plain dirty.
I mean, come on now. My number 9 is Safety Not Guaranteed. Mumblecore was a fucking mistake, and we should all burn it to the ground.
My number 9, Dead Man Down. Watch the trailer instead. That trailer is cool. The movie is not.
God, I've seen Dead Man Down twice, and I still can't tell you what happened. My number 8 is Parker. I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened. Oh, I remember Nick Nolte needing subtitles. That's about it.
My number 8 is Olympus Has Fallen. Nick Nolte is an Angel Has Fallen, the third movie in that series. That's probably my favorite of the 3. Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping you would say I'll never know though, for sure, because I ain't watching it. But yeah. My number 7 is In the Land of Blood and Honey. We are still in the 2-star territory.
Yep. That's my number 7 as well. It's
Okay.
not good. Yeah.
My number 6 is Old Boy. No.
Yeah, that's a little higher. I think I wish that was a little weirder, but I'm so glad that I saw it. It's an interesting. It's still so weird that Spike Lee made that and made it, and it turned out as it did. I mean, yeah. Number 6, Insidious Chapter 2. This is where we're starting getting into territory of 3 out of 5, where I'm like, yeah, sure, it's fine.
My number 5, Dead Man Down.
My number 5, Insidious.
My number 4, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Still 2 stars.
Hey, twins, not on the 2-star rating, but that being my number 4. A movie I liked at the time, but I don't really remember much about it. It's not stuck with me. Yeah.
That was one that, like, I remember seeing the DVD at Family Video at the time. Don't remember if I rented it, and then when I rewatched it, I was like, I don't remember any of this, but I may have rented it and may not watched it. But anyways, it's just like, oh no, our episode of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Oh no. But our episode of Drive was fucking fantastic, and I'm very sad that that got erased. My number 3 is Playing for Keeps. It's still 2 stars, but I don't know.
I mean, it's sort of in the way of like there are certain movies where it's like, well, yeah, you say this is bad, but I would rather watch this kind of bad movie than like this.
I'm gonna watch a bad horror movie over Olympus Has Fallen or Pompeii or Red Dawn.
Or like, I mean, not like In the Land of Blood and Honey, a movie about like very grim subject matter. It's like I would rather watch a movie, a shitty action movie that's like not meant to be taken seriously than like a movie about very serious subject matter that's not especially well directed or insightful. Like, you know what I mean?
A bad horror movie, you could not be here. I could do an hour on, but like a bad action movie, I'd be like, man, that sure did suck. Why did it suck? You saw it. I don't know. That's all I got. But like Insidious Chapter 2, yeah, I got plenty to say about that piece of shit. What's your number 3?
Pompeii.
Okay.
Which I liked. Not my favorite Paul W.S. Anderson. That's still Event Horizon. Yeah.
My number 2 is Insidious. 3 out of 5 stars. Watch out. Watch the fuck
Moving
out.
on up. My number 2, Old Boy. It's fine. Not my favorite Spike Lee. But then again, I also don't love the Park movie, especially. So yeah.
Yeah, that was also a wild revisit where I was just like, yeah, I mean, this is good, but it's kind of fucking silly, right? Like, like it's such a silly movie. But man, Middle School Me, the best shit ever. My number 1, and I assume, well, not assume, but you haven't said it yet, both of our number 1 is Drive, because how the fuck could it not be?
Yeah, I mean, I know there are people who are down on that movie, and I think there are some people who are like, oh, it's not their favorite Refn, but I love it. It's maybe it's also like the Refn. I think I said this in our group chat. Like it's the one I enjoy of his movies I enjoy watching the most. I think his Pusher sequels are quite good, but like those are also tough pangs. Whereas Drive, I'm just like, oh, I find this like so entertaining. I love like just like the synth soundtrack, and I love all the performances, and I think it is like it does the emotions hit, and the violence and action sequences are all like just wonderfully staged. Yeah, it's a super enjoyable movie. And I'm similarly bummed that our conversation wasn't out for the public, but you know what? We got to have a conversation, and that was very fun.
Yeah. God, Ron Perlman in that movie. Albert Brooks in that, but that might be my. I don't care. That's my favorite.
It's done. It's no pain. There's no pain. Yeah. Anyone else is done? Film District.
Dun, 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 dun. You remember that Albert Brooks is in I Love You, Daddy? All right, let's wrap this up.
Oh gosh.
So do we wrap it up here, or do we talk about what our next miniseries is going to be, or
well, we have an intermission coming up next, right?
That is true. Do we spill the beans on what that is? Don't worry,
yeah,
I will. It's Natural Born Killers. Can't wait.
I've never seen it the whole way through. I've seen like individual clips of it because I'm one of those weird people where it's like, instead of watching this whole 2-hour movie, I could just spend 2 hours watching clips of it. I wouldn't be spending 2 hours watching clips, but yeah, no, I'm really look forward to seeing it. I know that you've had this sort of in the chamber as like an intermission pick for a while. So I've been putting off watching it, so I can fire it up sometime in like the next 2 weeks. Are you doing Oliver Stone research for this?
Oh, I did not even think of that. I gotta watch Talk Radio. I think
you'll get a kick out of that one.
Born on the 4th of July, I have not seen.
That's really good.
I think that's about it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you're much of it's like, wow, this is on the soundtrack. I gotta watch the movie. But Any Given Sunday is a movie also where like there's like a million songs on the soundtrack. It's like Moby, Godsmack, Fatboy Slim, fucking Casey and the Sunshine Band, like a bunch of other people, and it's just like, wow, it's like all the songs and all the scenes.
That sounds
and Jamie
great.
Foxx. Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino.
I'm going to counter that by saying it's 2 hours and 43 minutes.
It is a long one. I watched that and took up my whole evening.
Over 5 nights.
Instead of watching the Super Bowl. Yeah.
And like U-Turn, I would like to say, but I just want to. It's fucking 2 hours long too. Yeah, I'll just stick to Talk Radio, which I think is like 90 minutes. Okay, it's 109. Nobody's perfect. Born on the 4th of July is also like 3 hours long. So I'll just do those two, and then if I can, I'll do Snowden. How about that? No, I won't.
No, that movie's real dull.
Is Wall Street worth watching?
I like that one fine. It's fun. I don't like it as much as some of his other movies that I've seen. Like
I don't like it as much
John
as C. McGinley is fifth build.
Well, he's like a Stone Company player. Like he's in Talk Radio, he's in Platoon, and Born on the 4th of July
I haven't
for a
seen
second.
Platoon. It's only 2 hours long. Okay, how is Any Given Sunday a movie about football longer than a movie about the Vietnam War. How did that happen? Yeah, maybe I'll watch Platoon. I always thought it was like one of those, or am I thinking of Patton? Is Patton like 14 hours long or something like that?
Patton, I think, is a little bit of a long one. Yeah, Platoon is like probably like what, 2 hours long? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
just
know
two
it's also.
hours.
I think also just like to close it out with a reference I'm sure you'll enjoy. I remember on one of the few Canada Hill episodes I've seen in full. It's like Hank and his wife Peggy are celebrating their anniversary, and he's just like, "Oh, you've been renting a movie." She's like, "What movie?" Platoon.
What if I pulled a Bryden and watch Wall Street and Money Never Sleeps, but don't watch Wall Street?
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description